After JNU, big campus showdown at Delhi's Jamia Millia Islamia University as the screening of the BBC Modi documentary is blocked, protesting students detained by the police. AK Antony's son resigns from his role in the Congress party, slams the party over BBC documentary, says sycophants and chamchas are in the party. Trinamool leader Saket Gokhale arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in a money laundering case. Gokhale is accused of misusing lakhs of funds collected via crowdfunding platforms. Sensational allegations by former Secretary of State of the US, Mike Pompeo, says that there was a possibility of a nuclear war between India and Pakistan after the Pulwama attack in 2019. We've got a full special report coming up in 5:30. Indian duo Sania Mirza and Rohan Bopanna shine at the Australian Open. Mirza and Bopanna storm into the finals of the mixed doubles. The BBC documentary on Prime Minister Modi has sparked a big campus war from the Jawaharlal Nehru University last evening now to that other big university campus in Delhi, the Jamia Millia Islamia University campus, where these are the scenes that are taking place as we speak. The campus showdown is raging over the documentary on Modi, hours after clashes erupted over the film's screening at JNU. Now, at Jamia Millia Islamia University, the planned screening of the BBC film stands at 6 p.m. today. Ahead of the screening, security outside the Jamia campus was beefed up, and with the gates shut, students have been barred from entering the campus. The Delhi police said that 4 students have been detained for allegedly creating a ruckus outside the university. Meanwhile, a statement has been released by the Jamia administration saying no meeting or gathering of students will be allowed without prior permission. Last night, there was high drama at the Jawaharlal Nehru University campus in Delhi. India Today continued to be the only channel reporting late into the night after power was cut to the university ahead of the BBC documentary screening. JNU Students' Union members then watched the film on their mobile phones and laptops. Now, the JNU Students' Union claims stones were pelted during the screening as well.
This is a complete violation of हर तरीके का fundamental rights of like all students.
So you were saying that Republic Day कल है and उससे पहले ही आप लोगों को ये सब किया जा रहा है, आपके leaders को apprehend कर लिया, detain कर लिया है, क्या किस तरीके से देख रहे हैं ये व्यवहार जो हो रहा है आप लोगों के साथ?
This is like I keep reiterating this. कल 26 जनवरी है और हमारे फंडामेंटल राइट्स पे एक मैसिव अटैक है, राइट टू एक्सप्रेशन पे, राइट टू से एनीथिंग, हर चीज के ऊपर एक बहुत ही बड़ा हमला है ये। और ये ना खाली पुलिस की तरफ से है, ना खाली दिल्ली पुलिस की तरफ से, बट जामिया एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से भी है, क्योंकि जो हमारे स्टूडेंट सुबह यहाँ से डिटेन हुए वो कैंपस के अंदर सिर्फ अपनी क्लास करने के लिए आए थे और उनको मतलब डिटेन करके बिना किसी बात के ले गए यहाँ से।
बताएंगे हमको कि आप लोग कहाँ से आए, बैनर्स पकड़े आप लोगों ने हाथ में?
Yeah, we are in support of SFI. We came here because they just stopped the documentary screening, so we are in support with those.
Has the police detained you? You are standing here. Are they doing this with girl students also?
No, just our leaders, they took.
They have been detained. So your banner is fraternity and you're in support of SFI BBC documentary screening.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And how many members of your group are here right now?
I think around, how many of them are there? Yeah.
Around 15 people are here.
Yeah.
So your leaders have been taken inside. Would you like to tell us what is going to be your plan of action, ma'am? Your leaders have been taken in by the Delhi police.
No.
Want to go across to the Jamia campus gates where India Today's Aishwarya Paliwal and Milan Sharma are standing by. They've been reporting from there since last night and through the day today. Milan, quickly coming to you first. 6 p.m. is when the screening starts. What's the situation outside the gates of Jamia right now?
Well, Shiv, the situation has calmed down at the moment after the chaos that was created because the scuffle happened between the SFI workers and the Delhi police here outside. I'm trying to show you that the situation is calm right now as the police personnel remain deployed as well as the rapid action force has been deployed. Now, several of the students of SFI have been detained, and since they have been detained, we spoke to the SFI members who said that perhaps tomorrow when we'll see Republic Day, just one day before, the fundamental rights are being curtailed to broadcast this documentary, and it seems unlikely now that the screening would go on at 6 p.m. as most of the leaders of SFI have been detained by the Delhi police. They were picked up from here, some of them sloganeering Inqilab Zindabad and other such slogans that were chanted outside the Jamia Millia gates, but the police was quick to detain them. Looking at the heavy deployment that is still on guard, Shiv, it does seem that the students will try to make something happen, but when we've spoken to the SFI that was organizing this particular screening of the BBC documentary on Narendra Modi, they have said that perhaps the screening can't go forward because they have snatched their phones also. They have been detained in the police station, and there is no way that they can actually watch the documentary, at least inside the Jamia Millia campus at the moment.
Okay, they can't watch it inside the campus right now. Several students have apparently been detained as well. Aishwarya, can you tell us about that?
Well, there were 4 students who were detained in the morning today, and as we were watching, the police personnel increase, we saw the police, detain 5 more people from within those who were standing at the gate. Shiv, just to tell you exactly what's happening, it's 5 o'clock and the police deployment at gate number 7. Shiv, this is the main gate of the university. There is heavy, very heavy police deployment. The RAF personnel are here. In fact, the women personnel also out here in large numbers, just so that in case the women come out of the female students come out, so just to handle them, you are seeing that the entire gate has been cornered off. There are layers and layers of police barricading which has been done. All of them are keeping a hawk's eye on any kind of untoward incident. And let me tell you, the people who were detained, they were detained by police personnel who were wearing civil clothes. So that's the kind of, hawk's eye that the police is keeping at the moment. Now, all eyes shift at 6 p.m. when it looks like there is a possibility the screening might not take place, but we could expect some students to come out and right at gate number 7 protest. So all these things are being done to make sure that no untoward incident takes place. Something that we saw yesterday at JNU, something of that sort should not repeat at Jamia. Shiv.
Stay with me, Milan and Aishwarya. I also want to go across to India Today's Amit Bharadwaj for more. Amit, I can see quite a bit of police still deployed out there in anticipation for what happens at 6 p.m.
Well, Shiv, the developments which have happened right before the supposed screening of the documentary tells the fate of the 6 p.m. program. We are at the very spot where students had gathered in small numbers. They were not in big numbers. Maybe a dozen of students were right here belonging to 2 different student organizations, one being Student Federation of India and the other being Fraternity Movement. Fraternity Movement is majorly a Jamia-based, student organization. So all these students were immediately picked up by the Delhi police personnel who have been deployed here. Their flags were literally snatched away and they were put in the bus. A couple of students who had managed to run away, they were later caught and put into the PCR van and they were quickly moving away from the spot. In fact, one protester was individually picked up by policemen in civil dress. So all this has happened at the Jamia Millia Islamia right ahead of the supposed screening of the controversial documentary of the BBC. So it looks like, Shiv, that the screening is not going to happen. Yesterday we had seen that at Jawaharlal Nehru University, students had resorted to, unique methods of screening the documentary when there was no electricity supply. There was no possibility that they could have done it on a bigger screen, so they decided to do it on their mobile phones. Now it is to be seen whether such tricks are being used today as well. But as of now, what we are understanding is that because of majority of the activists who could have been behind this particular screening have been now picked up, they have been detained. So there's very small possibility that this scheduled screening could happen inside the Jamia Millia Islamia. What we are also learning from police, Shiv, is that they are saying very categorically that if there are any event that is being organized inside the university, they are not going to intervene, but any sort of protest, if it happens on the road, which blocks the movement, traffic movement, and because 26 January is just, the 26 January protocol is also into place, they cannot allow any protest on the roads as far as the Jamia Millia Islamia stretch is concerned. So that is the police's version, but we know for a matter of fact that activists from SFI and fraternity movement have been now detained, and the crowd which was gathering out here at Jamia have been dispersed as well. Back to you, Shiv.
Thanks, Amit, Milan and Aishwarya for tracking this story very, very closely. We were the only channel reporting late into the night last night at JNU campus. We'll be keeping a very close watch on what unfolds outside the Jamia campus this evening in the national capital. I also wanted to break for you a disturbing piece of video footage that emerged last night. A shocking video of a media crew being attacked at JNU last night has just come forward. This is a media station called Janam TV, and their journalist is seen in these images being heckled by JNU students on their campus. A Malayalam TV journalist was allegedly attacked amidst a heated showdown on the JNU campus. These were pictures from late last night. This happened when there were clashes after the screening of the BBC Modi documentary was blocked on the JNU campus.
ജനം ടി വി സംഘത്തെ തിരഞ്ഞു പിടിച്ച് ആക്രമിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. 2016 ഫെബ്രുവരി 9-ന് JNUവിൽ.
With me here on 5 Live, Akshay, you were at JNU late last night. Images now of a Janam TV crew from Kerala being attacked by students on campus. Can you tell us a little bit more about what this is? You were right there when all of this was taking place.
Well, Shiv, absolutely. In fact, I was present there. I even went to the spot where the screening was taking place. And initially, while it was all quiet and while the students were more focusing on watching this particular documentary of BBC, as soon as the stone pelting started, as soon as the miscreant pelted stones at these students, all hell broke loose. In fact, Shiv, because the students were enraged. Of course, they were scared, but there was no reason for them to in fact attack the TV crews. Yes, there were sloganeering that was also done against different media crews. There were some students who were seemingly very angry with the media. They were asking the media crews to go near the dark spots and saying that there are some people standing there, urging the media to in fact move inside. However, with no police present, there was a security, and we also could not go to the absolutely isolated and dark spots. And it seems that that is the entire anger the entire anger was about. But clearly there were certain miscreants among the students as well who were taking.
And Akshay, you were heckled as well. You were heckled as well. We saw that.
Yes, absolutely, Shiv. I was heckled as well, and it was not just me. Almost all the media crews that were present there, irrespective of the channels, they were heckled. So it seems that the anger that was there in the students, that the electricity was cut off by the administration, that anger they vented out on the media crews, which was absolutely unjustified, because we were there doing our job. We were there showing that we were in fact talking about the administration's lapsed as far as security is concerned. They had cut off the electricity. We were time and again mentioning that, but there was absolutely no reason for them to attack the media.
Yeah.
So that clearly were absolutely unjustified, and that in fact threatened the security of the media that was present there. For the security and showing the truth that what was happening there inside the campus, Shiv.
Akshay, thanks very much. Stay safe. We'll keep coming back to you. This is an unfolding story now. JNU last night, today it's at Jamia Millia Islamia University. Let's hope that better sense prevails and that there is no tension of any kind. We'd like to appeal to all sides as well to try and keep the peace at this point of time. So we'll keep a track of that story. Meanwhile, as Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra reaches its final stretch in Jammu and Kashmir, the Quit Congress movement shows no signs of stopping either. In fact, it has intensified with a high-profile exit that hits where it hurts. Gandhi loyalist and senior party leader, former Defence Minister A.K. Antony's son Anil has left the Congress, but not before taking a very, very vicious pot shot at Congress culture, saying it's filled with sycophants and chamchas. This after Anil was abused, he says, by Congress leaders and the Congress rank and file for taking a position contrary to the party on the BBC Modi documentary. Take a look at what happened.
The BBC Modi film row hitting the Congress hard in Kerala. Congress veteran and prominent Gandhi family aide A.K. Antony's son Anil resigned from the party on Wednesday. A day after slamming the BBC documentary on Modi, calling it divisive and a ploy by a biased UK organisation out to undermine India's sovereignty. The resignation was triggered by a hail of abuses unleashed against Antony Jr. by purported Congress workers upset with him for opposing the BBC film.
I had a lot of calls from many places, a lot of text messages saying that I should retract my tweet. I should, let's say, and you are standing for free speech, you say that you are against hatred. But then from 8 p.m. onwards, like all through the night, like I'm getting threat calls, I'm getting hate messages.
Aghast by the abuse fest and threats to delete his tweet, Anil Antony quit his post in Congress and sent a hard-hitting letter, questioning the hate attacks on him by Congress during Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra, mocking it as a trek of love, alleging that sycophancy and chamchagiri are the only criteria to stay in Congress.
I think at this particular point of time, I think it is the right course of action. Because a lot of things that has happened in the last 24 hours, I do think it has been very hurtful to me as a person and as somebody who has been deeply involved with the Congress party all through my life.
Antony said while his sympathies lie with Rahul Gandhi, who he said is surrounded by a coterie of chamchas.
I have the highest of regards for Sri Rahul Gandhi. I personally feel he is doing one of the most commendable things by walking from Kanyakumari to Kashmir and trying to unite this country and give a message of love. But at the same time, I feel so sad for him because of the people he has surrounded himself with. Because sadly, the people who are with him, the people who are around him, the people who claim to be his supporters are people who are filled with vicious hatred, who stands for nothing which he is standing for.
A furious Congress hit by a series of resignations amid Rahul's Bharat Jodo Yatra called it good riddance.
Instead of giving peons of gyan on the country and things, he should in fact have been doing his work. Who is he? He's a non-entity. Why are you making him into an entity? That's the first question that I would want to ask.
I would not agree that our sovereignty is so easily affected. But as far as his resignation is concerned, he has not discussed it with me, so I don't think it's right for me to comment. I think that he's perfectly capable of speaking for himself.
BJP in a scathing response said that the Congress has no place for those backing India's integrity.
Once again proves that no self-respecting individual who thinks for the nation, speaks for nation's integrity and sovereignty can remain in the Congress party.
It is unfortunate that a party which claims to have been part of the freedom struggle, they don't understand the sovereignty and security of the country.
Antony Jr.'s resignation after slamming BBC's Modi film came a day after Rahul Gandhi had targeted the government over the controversial documentary. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, Anil Antony spoke exclusively to India Today, first after his resignation, where he claimed he was forced by Congress leaders to remove his tweet on the BBC documentary on Modi. Listen in. And remember, A.K. Antony, his father, his illustrious Congress leader father, is silent so far. He is said to be attending a family function somewhere in the hinterland in Kerala. But it will be interesting to know what the father says about this very, very ugly eruption from his son.
There's been a lot of conversation from the BJP, from several other leaders within the Congress who had quit the Congress, welcoming this move. Have you been frustrated for a long time, or was this just this one episode that has got you upset with the Congress and that's why you put on your papers?
See, I did submit my resignation in the morning, and the reasons for my resignation has been made very clear in that particular letter. It has been a bunch of incidents that has been happening for a while. I started working for the party for, it's a very short while when compared to a lot of senior veterans who left the party after 4 and 5 decades. So I have just been in the party for 3-4 years. It is a very short time. And I did have a great learning experience working with a lot of people, and I whatever I could to support the party's initiatives in a few major elections. However, the last few months, whatever I've been seeing and has been very disappointing. 24 hours, the response from certain corners, I would say, has been something which has been, I would say, it has given me the impression that somebody like me would find it very impossible to work in certain environment. And I think that for the best of my interest as well as the parties, it is better that I resign from all the major post that I am holding, and I continue with my own professional activities, and I took this particular call.
You know, there are several within the Congress party who actually feel the same way. You did say that there are some people who called you up. If you could give us an idea about who those people were and what did they exactly tell you about the documentary and about pulling that tweet back?
See, at this moment, I would not want to give any names, but I would just say that in the morning I made a very innocuous tweet where I would again, because there is a lot of allegations as well as a lot of miscommunication going around, but I want to again and again clarify that I as a person, I haven't made any comments nor have made any statement that is contrary to the view of the Congress in any manner. All I have said in that particular tweet, that tweet is very clear, where I have said that I have a lot of political differences with the BJP. Yet, when it comes to certain things, when it comes to our country's core interest, including our sovereignty, our even any other interest, including security, strategic interest, whatever it is, like, we shouldn't be playing politics with it, because end of the day, that is creating a fire which will have a lot of long-term ramifications. So I just said that we shouldn't put political interest over certain things. This is a very innocuous, simple statement. But sadly, let's say the response of the party after that, I would say, has been very appalling. Where in the next few hours, I had a lot of calls from across the spectrum. I, at this moment, don't want to name anybody. Because end of the day, I do believe that all the people did speak to me expecting a certain degree of trust and privacy. And at this moment, I want to keep it. But there was a lot of nudging to make me, let's say, either pull back the tweet or say something contrary. But because of my reasons, because I do sincerely believe that whatever I said is based on my convictions, I actually refused. But then the response after that, that is what has shocked me, and that has led me to believe that it is untenable for somebody like me to work in this organization, because I haven't deleted anything. You all are all free to go to my Twitter page, my Facebook page, especially my Facebook page. You go to that Facebook page from 8 p.m. Even now it hasn't stopped, where the only thing is actually a lot of hurtful abuses, a lot of threats, a lot of obnoxious comments just because of a one tweet which somebody didn't like. And I know exactly where this is coming from.
And coming up next, Was there the possibility of a nuclear war between India and Pakistan in 2019 after the Balakot airstrikes? How close do the two countries come to actually exchanging nuclear weapons? Was that a reality? I'm going to tell you about it on the other side.
Fali Nariman, 94 years young, 72 years in the judiciary, and as I said, the foremost jurist in the country, Mr. Nariman.
No, not at all. But yes, I've seen a lot of Sundays, if you can call it that.
You've seen a lot of Sundays, but have you seen the kind of Sundays that we are seeing at the moment where virtually on a daily basis, the executive and the judiciary seem to be heading towards some kind of a confrontation, particularly over the collegium system of appointing judges?
I have seen that. But I think it is purely futile. You see, if you want to know the solution, and if anybody wants to know the solution, the government itself has provided its own solution. The previous government, the NDA government, there is a bill, I don't know if you've seen it. It's called the National
Judicial Appointments?
No. It's the Constitutional Amendment Bill of 2003.
Right.
2003. Based on the recommendation of the Venkatacharya Commission. That is the commission over the Constitution. And that gives a complete idea of what really should be there. And if only the law minister would pick it up and brush off the dust from it. It says that a commission, and the commission is certainly a better way of doing things, a national commission with a member which have to be 5, 3 senior most judges of the Supreme Court. Why? Because otherwise it would damage the basic structure of the Constitution, the independence of the judiciary, and then hoping that there can be some confabulation. But I don't know why we don't pick it up instead of throwing stones at one another. Those who support the collegium system throw stones at the government starts throwing stones back again toward the judges, and that's all the mess.
So you're asking in a way the government to look back at what the Vajpayee government did. And what the Vajpayee government had proposed in terms of the constitutional
and do you know why and you know why it was not passed? It was not passed only because the Lok Sabha was dissolved. Elections were called.
I suspect the market will not do much in the first half. That's how I would look at it. And hopefully the second half, as valuation becomes slightly more reasonable based on roll forward of earnings, hopefully maybe the market start performing. So let me just elaborate a little bit. So if you look at currently where we are in terms of the growth part, it's a mixed picture as far as the economy is concerned. We are seeing maybe some pickup as far as the basic or staples consumption is concerned, but clearly seeing a big slowdown on the discretionary part of the reasons for that, which we can talk about later. If you look at the investment part, again, a mixed picture in the sense, housing is doing very well. That is the household part. Private sector capex, bits and pieces, things are picking up, but I think the big pickup should only happen from next year, looks like to me. And government capex, will be under through linked to the government's fiscal capacity to spend. So mixed picture, I would say, in the sense, we will do about 5.5% GDP growth for FY24, which is quite decent in the global context. If you look at on the interest rate inflation part, again, we are in a situation where I don't see major headwinds or tailwinds to the market from interest rates. In the sense, inflation has peaked both globally and in India. I don't see any necessity for the RBI to be raising rates meaningfully from where we are, and essentially inflation will decline quite sharply going forward. Having said that, core inflation is still sticky, and it is sticky everywhere in the world, which means the central banks will not be in a big hurry to cut rates also at the same time. So I don't see any, great positive or negative news from the interest rate part also. So I suspect given where we are on the growth part, where we are on the interest rate cycle, looks like we just meandered through for the first half. And of course, valuations are still punchy as far as India is concerned. So my hope is, probably you see some time correction, and the market already has seen a fair bit of time correction. If you look at the last 12-15 months, the market hasn't really done much. So I suspect probably the same pattern repeat for the first 6 months. After that, we'll see, depending on how things pan out, and hopefully valuations start to be a bit more reasonable, as I was saying, based on more forward earnings. Hopefully the market starts performing on an absolute basis then.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
It's 2023, and India remains the sole shining star in the global economy. So what lies ahead as the Modi government prepares its last full budget before the 2024 general elections? Join the biggest names in business journalism, decoding the jargon with the biggest newsmakers. From the most credible, in-depth analysis of Budget 2023, tune in for Modinomics 2023 through the month. Only on India Today and Business Today Television, gold standard of business journalism.
Four years after the Balakot airstrikes, top US voice makes disturbing claim. India and Pakistan came close to a nuclear war. Mike Pompeo says nuclear war was averted. But what would an Indo-Pak nuclear war actually look like? Now, if it was someone else saying it, perhaps it could be taken with a pinch of salt. The person saying that India and Pakistan came very close to a nuclear exchange after the Balakot airstrikes in 2019 is none other than the person who was the US Secretary of State at that time, Mike Pompeo. He's also been, remember, the chief of the Central Intelligence Agency. He's coming out with a new book. He's always been pro an Indo-US alliance against China. He's been critical of the Pakistani system and its development and support of terrorism. And that's the reason why his words need to be taken seriously. In a troubling account in his upcoming book, Mike Pompeo says that after India's airstrikes, the two countries believed that the other was about to strike with nuclear weapons.
February 26th, 2019. The day when a small pack of Indian Mirage 2000 fighters crossed the LOC at night and dropped bombs that would land outside Pakistan's Balakot town. A tense aerial battle followed the next morning with Indian pilot wing commander Abhinandan Vartaman famously shooting down a Pakistani F-16 before being shot down himself and captured. But the escalation abruptly ended there. Four years later, disturbing new light has been thrown on what the Balakot bombings triggered.
Well, the Indian ambassador to the United
Mike Pompeo, US Secretary of State, during the Balakot airstrike, has pulled the covers of an episode that he says came close to an actual nuclear exchange. Pompeo says he got a call from an unnamed Indian official minutes after the Balakot operation. The top US diplomat, who was in Hanoi on an official visit, says he had to act immediately. He goes on to say that the US State Department then dropped everything to focus on convincing both India and Pakistan that the other was not preparing to go nuclear. Pompeo, a possible future contender of the US presidency, has been a strong proponent of India and advocated for a bigger alliance between Washington and Delhi. Coming from someone who sat at the top of the international table and from someone who has headed the CIA, Pompeo's words also serve to establish the success of the Balakot airstrikes, something Pakistan has unsuccessfully tried to deny thus far. Did India and Pakistan come closer than ever before to a nuclear exchange? Now we know. Bureau Report, India Today.
And I want to bring Gaurav Sawant in. Gaurav and I reported the Balakot airstrikes and the security fallout in 2019 extremely closely. Gaurav, Mike Pompeo, he's always been, a pro-India voice in the US administration at that time as well. His book saying that the two sides came very close to a nuclear exchange because there was uncertainty and suspicion on both sides. Very tellingly, Gaurav, he says that the Pakistanis thought the Indians were going to strike again and they started readying their nuclear weapons. What are you hearing about what Mike Pompeo has said in his book?
Shiv, spot on. In fact, Mike Pompeo, as you rightly pointed out, close to India, both as CIA chief and as US Secretary of State. So while he was in Hanoi, he received a call from Sushma Swaraj, then External Affairs Minister of India, after the Balakot strikes had been carried out, and Sushma Swaraj told him that India's appreciation of the situation was that Pakistan could launch a nuclear strike. And in fact, a tactical nuclear strike by Pakistan had already been wargamed, and not just that,
Yes.
India was prepared for a retaliation and an escalation, and that, as you well know, Shiv, an escalation ladder is well worked out, including the nuclear realm in this case. And Shiv, you'd recall two things that happened subsequently. So while in his book, Mike Pompeo says that he spoke to the powers that be in Pakistan, indicating he spoke to General Qamar Javed Bajwa, the chief of Pakistan Army, the all-powerful man and the man who has his finger on the nuclear trigger. Qamar Javed Bajwa reassured him that Pakistan did not plan to go nuclear, but the indications are that he was told that there would be a retaliation, and the next day Pakistan did launch a massive package of multiple fighter jets, but they didn't cross the line of control of border. They stayed on the Pakistani side. But Shiv, the escalation again was from the Indian side. You'd recall in elections in Gujarat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that he had warned Pakistan in case then Wing Commander Abhinandan wasn't returned immediately. The words that were used, or words to the effect, "Aaj ki raat hogi katl ki raat," and Indian missiles, including the supersonic cruise missiles and others, they were in place. You'd also recall a statement that was made in the Pakistani parliament, where Pakistan's foreign minister is understood to have said कि खुदा के लिए उसको जाने दे, वरना रात में 9 बजे इंडिया ने अटैक कर देना है, और पाकिस्तान आर्मी चीफ के पैर कांप रहे थे. So, you know, it has actually borne out and corroborated in multiple ways. Mike Pompeo's book, the statement in Pakistani parliament, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying in case Abhinandan wasn't returned, आज की रात होगी कत्ल की रात.
Very, very interestingly, he, Mike Pompeo, Gaurav, actually talks about getting a phone call from an Indian official. Doesn't name the official, but very interesting how he says, an Indian official called me saying that they believe that Pakistan is now readying its nuclear weapons. I am guessing the same thing must have happened on the other side as well. And Gaurav, you covered Operation Parakram in 2001-2002 following the, attack on Parliament. It's a similar kind of situation that could have triggered a nuclear exchange between the two countries. But stay with me, Gaurav, because the possibility of a nuclear exchange between two countries that have gone to war at least 3 times in their history since 1947, has never been completely off the table because of the conflict that has continued to exist between India and Pakistan. But not until 2019 did a university or a pair of universities actually war game what such a nuclear exchange between India and Pakistan would look like and how it would impact the world. You've already guessed it. It's unthinkable. It would destroy most of the world. But take a look at this report.
The two neighbors have gone to war 4 times. Terror from one side keeps the two embroiled in a grinding conflict on the line of control and Kashmir Valley. And now we are told that in 2019, after the Balakot airstrikes, India and Pakistan came dangerously close to a nuclear exchange. The revelation from the then US Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. But what would an actual nuclear exchange between the two countries look like? A 2019 report by Rutgers University and the University of Colorado paints a disturbing picture of how an India-Pakistan nuclear war would start and what consequences this would have on the world. Step 1. Pakistani provocation. Major terror attack like Pulwama or Parliament. Step 2. India begins deployment forces at border. Step 3. Pakistan army expects invasion. Readies nukes. Step 4. Pakistan fires 10 5 kiloton nukes at face-off zone. Step 5. India fires 20 nuke missiles at Bahawalpur and 18 Pak air bases. Step 6. Pakistan fires 45 nukes at Indian garrisons, airfields, naval bases and border forces. Step 7. India fires all but 100 nukes at Pakistan targets. The results of such a nuclear exchange would be devastating. The very fact that the exchange takes place establishes the failure of the nuclear weapons to deter precisely their use. According to the US study, 15 to 125 million people would die as a result of the exchange. 80 billion pounds of thick black smoke from the fallout would billow into Earth's atmosphere, blocking sunlight from reaching the ground. The ensuing nuclear winter would plunge the entire planet into a severe cold spell, possibly with temperatures not seen since the last ice age. Is this what India and Pakistan came close to in 2019? Bureau Report, India Today.
Quick final word from Gaurav, who's still with us. Gaurav, from what Mike Pompeo says, theoretically speaking, another big terrorist attack, another big provocation, God forbid, an attack on Parliament or such, could easily bring us back to this kind of situation, the possibility of a nuclear exchange.
So, Shiv, 1998 was when India carried out the nuclear tests once again after 74. And in 1999, there was a limited conflict in Kargil.
Yes.
There was again, Operation Parakram, as you very rightly pointed out, after the attack, after Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed attacked the Temple of Indian Democracy, our parliament. They came close to the brink of war, but then pulled back after 10 months. So it's also the mindset of the leadership and the pressure the world mounted and the kind of, the atmosphere, the kind of environment India is able to generate. So, nothing happened after Op Parakram. Again, both nuclear weapon states. But here, after, Balakot, India was well up the chain when it comes to the escalation ladder. And that is why Pakistan realized it couldn't escalate.
Right.
That is what India's war game appears to be.
Okay, Gaurav, thanks very much for that perspective on what could have possibly led to a nuclear conflict. We are told by Mike Pompeo now that the two countries came very close in 2019 after Balakot. We've got some more breaking news coming in from Mike Pompeo's book. Very, very interesting development. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has slammed Mike Pompeo's description of Sushma Swaraj, who was Dr. Jaishankar's predecessor, in his book. The former US Secretary of State has said he never saw his counterpart Sushma Swaraj as an important political player. Never Give an Inch is the name of his book, Fighting for the America I Like. Pompeo describes Sushma Swaraj somewhat disparagingly, actually very disparagingly, using the American slang word goofball and heartland political hack, basically saying that Sushma Swaraj was naive and not a real political player in the establishment. Commenting on Pompeo's rude and somewhat racist claims, Dr. Jaishankar has said, "I deplore the disrespectful colloquialism used for her." So, a bit of a flashpoint there, rude, misogynistic, racist perhaps even, words used by Mike Pompeo for Sushma Swaraj have been countered by Dr. S. Jaishankar, who is Sushma Swaraj's successor as External Affairs Minister, to say, "I deplore the disrespectful colloquialism used for her." This book is likely to be a bestseller when it comes out, given how much is being teased about it. Up after this very short break, amidst an overwhelming response by Shah Rukh fans for Pathaan. Massive protests continue across India, but the film itself has been uncancelled and received with a huge reception by fans across the country. The protests have only been a small fringe activity.
As Bharat Jodo Yatra nears the finishing line, Rahul Gandhi shifts focus to Kashmiri Pandits. The Congress MP met a delegation of Kashmiri Pandits just days after the twin terror blasts rocked Narwal and Rajouri. The Pandit delegation relayed their main concerns. They have not received their salaries from the government for months.
They are just using the Kashmiri Pandits only for the vote politics, nothing else. They have always used us. The name of Kashmiri Pandits, 4 lakh have been, this thing has been happening. Only when election comes, they get activated regarding Kashmiri Pandits.
And targeted killings are on the rise.
एक एम्प्लॉयज का इशू है जो पिछले 6 महीने से धरना पे बैठे हैं, जिसकी सैलरीज बंद है और गवर्नमेंट इज वेरी एडमेंट दैट पहले आप ज्वाइन कीजिए वहाँ पे, उसके बाद आप वहाँ पे मीटिंग्स के टारगेट बन जाइए.
In his response, Rahul Gandhi minced no words. The Congress MP trained guns at the BJP at separate public meetings, claiming the ruling party only used the Kashmiri Pandits for vote bank politics.
वो मेरे पास आए और मैं उनकी बात ना उठाऊं तो फिर वो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. तो अगर हम यात्रा कर रहे हैं और लोग हमें बातें बता रहे हैं, हमें वो बातें तो उठानी पड़ेंगी.
The Congress has now asked the Kashmiri Pandit community for a 3-point memorandum that will be handed over to the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, BJP on Tuesday targeted the Congress, demanding the Grand Old Party to make its stand clear on Article 370.
धारा 370 अतीत है, समझे? वो संविधान के द्वारा हो गया और हम बहुत विनम्रता से राहुल गांधी आपको चुनौती देते हैं. 370 एक संवैधानिक प्रक्रिया के तहत निरस्त हुआ है, उसके लिए 2/3 बहुमत चाहिए. तो राहुल गांधी जी, क्या आपको लगता है कि कभी 2/3 बहुमत आपको मिलेगा? एक बार खुलकर तो बात करिए. ये एडहॉक कमेंट क्या करते हैं?
While Rahul Gandhi raised the emotional issue of rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits, his message got lost in the din over the remarks of the party leader Digvijay Singh doubting 2016 surgical strike. Bureau Report, India Today.
And Pathaan fever is on. The Badshah of Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan, has returned to the big screens after a gap of 4 years, and that too with a bang. There was an attempt to boycott, but this film could not be cancelled. It has been uncancelled if first day, first show and first viewing is anything to go by. Since early this morning, Shah Rukh fans have been flocking to cinema halls in large numbers to catch the new film. Take a look.
The Badshah of Bollywood.
हमने मोहब्बत करनी है, हमने मोहब्बत की है, इस दिल के अलावा किसी से भी ना हमने इजाजत ली है.
Shah Rukh Khan returns to the big screens after a gap of 4 years, and that too with a bang.
Jai Hind.
SRK fans are going all out to make it a memorable release. Long queues were seen for first day first shows. People waited outside theatres from early in the morning. Fans even travelled to other cities to watch the spy thriller. Bursting crackers, sporting customized Pathaan posters on their t-shirts. Be it Bengaluru, Chennai, Kolkata, Indore or the heart of Bollywood films, Mumbai, the film has been initially receiving a stellar reaction.
शाहरुख खान एक ब्रांड है मूवी बहुत अच्छा है बहुत ही अच्छा मूवी है
This kind of craze is only experienced by superstars of the stature that Shah Rukh Khan holds. No wonder he's the most loved Bollywood celebrity, and not just in India, SRK receives love from fans across the world. Despite boycott calls, lakhs of tickets were booked in advance for the first day for Pathaan, making it the first Bollywood movie to earn over 20 crore rupees in advance bookings.
Pathaan, the hunter, hunted.
King Khan and his fans are making sure his comeback film gets the widest release worldwide. The film is releasing in a record-breaking 100+ countries and will be screened in more than 2,500 screens overseas alone. So will Shah Rukh Khan break the drought of mega hits for Bollywood? Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
How does a retail investor in the Indian markets protect the downside that is likely?
So the only way to protect downside is through asset allocation. You follow your asset allocation strategy, take risk what you can manage, buy when things are cheaper and sell when things are expensive. सिद्धार्थ भाई ये सब बोलने में बहुत इजी है, करने में जान निकल जाता है.